everyone, it's Carolyn here to share another channeled message. This time I'm working again with Celeste, my colleague and friend. We're going to talk about manifestation and how it is not as simple as we think. We're going to talk about the complexities. We're going to talk about how now is a real interesting time to be thinking about manifestation and really considering some of the things that we're talking about, as well as the layeredness of actually manifesting. So we channel during all of this. We offer you our perspectives as well and our examples from our own life journey. So join us today as we talk about this fascinating topic that isn't as simple as we may think, but it is possible. So I'm Carolyn, I'm a channel, I'm a distance energy healer, and I'm a spiritual awakening mentor. So I offer these channels on my YouTube channel for your awakening and ascension journey support. For those of you who are new, if you'd like to join me further, please like, share, and subscribe, as well as below in the description box, you're going to see a link to more of my channeled information and free content. You get a channeled message a week from the Light Keepers. Plus, you can also join me on Facebook, Purple Rain Healing. I offer channels on a regular basis. They're beautiful, poetic channels. So join me for more free content. So with that today, we're going to go ahead and get going. I have also listed Celeste's information below so you can check out her service as well if you would like to work with her. And then I'm going to join you at the end of the channel here real briefly and invite you to a special that we have presently through May 31st. All right, enjoy the channel. What Abraham speaks to is very... is a fundamental way of understanding how we can create. You know what I mean? Because manifestation does work to a degree. It's just not so straightforward.
Right.
I mean,
and that's, it's funny because I used to watch Abraham Hicks. I mean, I got so many of their I purchased their videos, I purchased their cards. I mean, I got all kinds of stuff from them. And then I just lost interest. And then now if I watch her stuff and I look at it and I'm like, oh, first off, I stopped resonating with it. And then I realized, because so many people struggled, right? I mean, a lot of her videos, people are asking questions and Abraham comes through and shares things. And I thought some of the things that Abraham was saying, it doesn't resonate because it doesn't work yet. We're not at a high enough vibration for things that Abraham and some of these other beings who are being channeled, it doesn't work because we are too much into 3D. Like
I just heard not ready for it.
Yes, we're not ready for it.
Oh, you know what I'm getting to? Didn't mean to interrupt you, but I'm getting to that a lot of what they're talking about is also prep work to understand the process.
That's it.
To get us in that space, that vibratory space of understanding that we are creators. Most people don't know that.
Right. Well, they don't believe it.
No,
people don't believe it yet.
But here's the thing. Coming into the awakening with me, like... Again, you know my story, and you were different than this. You had that kind of spiritual thing, juju going on. Not me. I didn't know squat. Well, I didn't know what being a creator was. I used to get the sign and message over and over again, create, create, create. And guess what I thought? I mean, really shows you. This is just 4 years ago. I thought, oh, I'm supposed to do artwork.
Yep.
I didn't know what create meant. I had no clue. I didn't know I was a creator. I didn't know what that meant. And so I think you make a really good point, because what they've led me to is that this is about understanding we can create. That's basic, right?
Right.
Most people don't get that. But so let's just keep talking about that. So not to diss Abraham Hicks and Esther, because I still to this day go back and I like to listen on occasion to reinforce this idea that we can create, because I'm going to tell you right now, and I don't know if you have gone through this, where you feel like you can't, like you're just being done to.
Oh gosh, my whole life I felt like I was being done to, and felt very, when bad things would happen, I would think I'm being victimized by the universe. And now things have shifted so much that I can step outside of my personality self more easily, not all the time, but more easily, to understand that everything that's happened to me up till this point has been for my best and highest good.
Yes. And yet, okay, so this is coming into my mind, and I'm going to give you this example. However, what I'm getting here to is, those things that we think are done to us, it also is because of where we are in our human form vibrationally, that we do cause things to happen to us because we're not in that high vibration form to be able to your point, create out of that in a manifestation way with like Abraham Hicks is talking about, right? And I'm going to give you an example of myself, which is so interesting because it just came into my mind, is back when I was traveling a lot for work in my younger years, I loved to travel for work, and I traveled a lot, and I went all over the country. And I was kind of in that, this is going to sound really icky because it feels icky now. Like, I kind of liked being in that soap opera kind of way of living. Like everything was kind of a little dramatic. I don't know why. That's just the stage I went through. So what would happen is when I would travel, I would have unbelievable things happen to me. Not mystical, magical, just like crazy things that would happen. I could tell you all the stories about that, but that would be a whole video in itself. Where like things out of the blue would happen, and I'd meet people, or things that I didn't want to have happen would happen. Well, guess what energy I'm putting out there? I'm putting that energy out because what I said, I actually articulated that because I used to travel alone all the time. So one person said to me once, we were getting ready to go on a trip together, and I said, "Oh, watch out! Something always happens when I travel. So you're with me now." Guess what?
You totally just opened the door with that statement.
I did, and it happened at about 10:30 at night, and I didn't know anything about higher self. I didn't know I just thought I was living my life and controlling my own life, right? Well, all of a sudden, about 10:30, we're coming home from dinner. We get a flat tire out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, no.
I don't know how to change a tire. I had to take charge, and it was a gentleman I was with. Thank God, across the street, there was somewhere to make a phone call. Anyway, my entire point in this is you do, at a certain vibration, create those things. But I think it's at the lower vibrations where you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah. We are creator beings, period. And depending on our vibration, depends on what types of things that we create, right?
Yes.
But then don't forget, there's also still those moments of destiny, so to speak, right? So it's manifestation is so much more complex than people make it out to be.
Completely. It's multi-layered. And in fact, okay, so they're showing me manifestation, your pathway to manifestation of the thing you want. But there's all incoming. They're saying incoming. There's incoming.
Yeah.
Along the way that you got to deal with. Now, that doesn't mean you might not get your manifestation down the road, but you're going to have a ton of other things to deal with. And maybe that manifestation isn't for you in this lifetime. And you want to talk about some of the reasons why? We want to do that?
Well, of course. So here's the thing. I know that we are moving into a time where karmic debt is no longer an issue.
That's what I've been told.
I don't think that time is here just yet.
No.
Right?
Well, and I don't know. I guess what I would say is, you know what they just said? To each their own.
Right.
Each human cycle.
That makes sense, though.
It totally does. It's not everybody after this lifetime karma's done. It's each to their own. But okay, so now what they're showing me, I don't mean to get to a different topic, but it does tie to this. They're showing it winding down. Like, in other words, it's starting. Some people are not needing to deal with this anymore, and that's where we're headed. So it's a trickle effect. It's not everybody at once.
So it's really based on everybody's individual soul journey.
Yes.
Okay, that makes perfect sense.
That's what they're showing me. That's what they're showing me right now.
So kind of to get back to my point,
Yeah.
is that people may have been like a total con artist in the past where they made a bunch of money at the expense of other people. And now this lifetime, guess what? You're not going to get that because now your soul chose to experience what it would be like to be conned, to be swindled out of money.
So to your point, the idea of maybe that person wanting to manifest the lotto probably isn't going to happen. Or here's the other part. This is coming to me. If that's your manifestation, maybe that's part of your lesson in that karmic situation.
Yeah.
And how that plays out. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
Like,
So,
here's a good example. Here's a really good example. In that scenario, let's say you do have that manifestation. Okay, this is what's coming to you now. Let's say you do win the lottery, but you still have the same situation you just talked about. What's going to unfold after you win it? What's going to unfold? You see what I'm saying? So you
yes.
get your manifestation, but then that's not the end of it.
Right. Do you know that I actually read an article where they did a study on people who've won the lottery, like millions of dollars in the lottery, and how many of them end up losing it all?
Right. So my
Like
point
90%.
right. So the point in that is, and we don't know, but what I'm very much getting is well, because we know everything is purposeful, right? Even if you don't want to believe that, everything's purposeful. Right. Well, those things are huge, right? So let's say you do win the lottery. And of course, that's the typical manifestation, right? So we're just using that as our example. But now all this information is coming through where then what happens is, oh, that's not, yeah, you got the manifestation, but did you forget that your soul's journey in this time was to learn how to your point, handle that money, and then you lose it all. And you've paid back your karmic debt, but you got your manifestation at the same time. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. And that's part of the complexity. But then there's the other piece that we can't forget, that the soul itself has an agenda, and the agenda is to have experiences, right? So when we decide to incarnate into a life, we make all these choices, right? We decide on what body we have, what health we have, who are our parents, our siblings, and some of these can be changed out, but there's a certain aspect, I think, of each of these areas that we want to find to kind of create this personality self that we're going to come in to be. So yes, we're creator beings. That's part of the creation process, to incarnate into what we've chosen for ourselves in this lifetime. But yes, like you said, we can create or manifest winning the lottery. But if we've chosen for this lifetime to experience what it would be like to be swindled out of money, or to lose money, or to not be well off, and or to be very well off, to be one of the 1%, and what are the challenges with that? Whatever we choose, even if we're able to manifest something like winning the lottery, like you said, and then all of a sudden we lose it all and we haven't really learned much.
Right. So tied into that, you've got your experience. Okay, so if you think about this, you have an experience that you want to have. Okay, that may be one reason that manifestation is not, I guess, just say appropriate, right? So you're having experience, but then you have that payback for people,
the karmic debt,
people too, that you did something in that lifetime to that particular individual. So you come in with a particular payback scenario that's got to unfold in a certain way. And where does your manifestation fit into that? Does it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's so much more complex. Now, granted, I get it. What's being shared is meant to be very simplistic, to remind us the fact that we are creator beings first and foremost. On a soul level, that's what we are. We are creator beings from the biggest creator of all, right?
Yep. And you know what keep going.
No, what were you going to say? Because I just lost.
You know what they just said while you're talking? They said, be careful what you wish for. Okay, we hear that all the time, right? But what they're talking about is what we just said, which is back to that example of the lottery. You're manifesting the lottery. You want to win the lottery. Well, that's part of your soul journey. Manifest that for the lottery. But it doesn't mean you're going to go live in the $1 million home and buy your own island kind of thing and live happily ever after. Whoa, no. Guess what? Be careful what you wish for. You get that manifestation. Maybe you have karma or a payback due to someone else. So this manifestation doesn't turn out to be the beautiful thing you think it is. Do you see what I'm saying? Like it is a lesson. I mean, it's all meant to be, but it's all a lesson. Manifestation can turn into an actual lesson in and of itself.
Right.
What I'm hearing.
Absolutely. Well, and here, don't forget this as well, is that our soul really has no judgment on wrong or right. It really it's neutral. It just wants to have experiences.
And yet,
So on a soul level, if we win the $1 million lottery, wonderful. If we lose all of that money and we're poor again, beautiful.
right,
Because it's just experiences.
right, exactly. And yet at the same time, we're still trying to rise in vibration, which is this whole ascension thing, right? So
Right.
which kind of, I don't know if
Well,
that makes
let's talk about that. How, as we gain more understanding of how the whole spiritual process works, and as we raise our vibration to a higher level, that the things that we choose to create or manifest become different.
That's exactly it. They said you have a higher perspective.
There you
So
go.
then you're at a different plane. Think about that. Oh my God, this ties into the whole of humankind. So we're all down here, right, doing this manifestation thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not dissing anybody who wants to win the lottery, but let's say you're just wanting to win the lottery, a material kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
But then you have a higher perspective as you continue to grow. And now as you're up here wanting to manifest different higher perspective things, and all of humankind's doing that, guess what's happening? You're creating a new world.
Right. And that's what's happening with this whole coronavirus and the quarantine and people being trapped inside with their own thoughts and feelings, and they're processing and releasing, and they're reflecting on what really matters to them. Even those people who have absolutely no desire to explore spirituality on any level, even they are in the process of reflecting on what do they want? What will really make them happy?
What are they going to manifest out of this? What are they going to manifest out of this? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
That's the time to put those things forward.
Right.
And use the manifestation process in whatever way works for you. That's, yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so fascinating. This is all new information for me with respect to this whole idea of manifestation, like the things you manifest at the lower vibrations versus what you manifest at the higher vibrations.
Right.
Oh my gosh, you know what they just said?
What?
And I know we talked about this before, but we're linking things. They said that's how the new earth's going to be created.
Yes.
Your manifestations aren't the simple 3D materialistic kinds of things anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Their higher perspective. That's, oh my heavenly days. I didn't expect this to go there.
Yeah. I think that's exactly what's happening. I mean, just from the people that I've spoken to, so many people have, like, they're not always online, distracted, right? So they're not on YouTube all day or on Facebook all day or on Instagram. They really are, when you are required to stay in your house, most people want to go out. They want to go walk. They want to be in nature. They want to do something that they can get out of that feeling of confinement, and it gets them away from their distractions. And so it allows them to ask themselves, what is really important?
And manifest out of that. And they're manifesting in a higher vibration. Forget whether they're awakening or not. The things that they've learned in the space of this time are naturally going to be out of a higher vibration. They see what they don't want anymore. You see what I'm saying? In most cases, I will say. Now, granted, we got the whole other perspective of people who are shystering everyone and, selling, I don't know, masks out of their trunk car, and they're making their, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, right? And they're saying they're N95 and they're not, whatever. So we got that going on too. But you got all these people at that lower vibration, but now the ones that are starting to get it, you know what I mean? Forget whether you're awakening. When you're awakened, I mean, everybody's manifesting. You don't have to be awakened to manifest. You're just more consciously aware of what you're manifesting and the process.
Exactly. Because, I mean, on a soul level, we're creator beings first and foremost. So yes, we're always creating. So then I imagine folks who are really in survival mode. Yeah. Right? There's so many folks who are in survival mode. And so they create from the limited beliefs that they have about what they are allowed to create from. If they grew up in survival mode, and that's that paradigm that they grow, that as an adult they believe that they can't have the things that they want, that their car will always break down, that they will never have a job that covers all their bills. Like, that's where that place is where they create from.
Exactly. And and it's, to your point, that's the vibrational. right?
That's the
Because
vibrational
that's
thing.
kind of that whole negative way of looking at things. And
Yeah.
I mean, and the other thing that we've talked about this too is, and I don't mean to change the trajectory of this too much, but I want to get this in, is that sometimes this manifestation idea turns into, like, you end up blaming yourself. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh
well, you can't
gosh.
manifest that, then you're not doing it right. Or what, do you know what I'm saying? Like, you want to speak
Mhm.
to that because you've talked about that before.
Oh gosh, yes. Oh my gosh. I've struggled with that myself. I mean, I can't tell you how many vision boards I've created, how many lists I've created, um, how many mantras and positive affirmations I've said, and it never worked for me. It
Well,
never worked for me.
well, and the thing is, then it turns into, or it can, if you look at things this way, in the very simplistic view of manifestation, is that, well, it's your own fault for what you get. Because
That's
you've been,
exactly what happened. I started feeling shame. Like, what's wrong with me that these other people out there are manifesting all these positive things for themselves, and all of these, manifesting and drawing in these wonderful, like, oh, that brand new car or that wonderful relationship. And here I am struggling, 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 and nothing is working. There must be something wrong with me.
right. And so that doesn't serve anybody well at all. And here's the other thing, just to kind of shift a little bit to this, to take off of what you just said. Those manifestations, another part of manifestation that kind of we don't understand when we just think of, we can manifest anything, is,
Mhm.
well, maybe that manifestation's valid, but it's not time. You know what I'm saying?
I was
Like,
just about to say
yeah,
that. Yes.
you know what
What
I mean?
about
Like, okay,
divine
and I'm going to use
timing?
another simplistic one. I want to meet the man of my dreams, kind of thing, right? I don't
Yeah.
know. Just going to use a
Or the
simple,
woman of my dreams.
or
Yeah.
woman, yeah, man or woman, right? And in that case, why aren't they coming? And it goes on years and years and years. Why aren't they coming? And then you start putting this negative, lower vibration energy toward it. So it can really turn into this cycle of just hanging out at the low vibrations because you're shaming yourself, like you said.
Yeah. 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 And then there's the disappointment. It's like, wow, it's been so long and everyone else seems to be, and the comparison, right? That
Yes.
never helps either. But I think that in the spiritual community, from in the 90s and the early 2000s, there were so many channelers out there that were sharing about how to manifest, and using positive affirmations and all of that, and like The Secret.
Oh, okay, yeah. That
Remember
came from,
that? I mean,
I never saw, I didn't never
oh
see it, but it's
yeah, I
Abraham
mean,
Hicks, right? It's the
I
from that.
nope, that was something.
Oh,
The Secret was this video that came out, and a book, and I got everything that I could
mhm.
back in the day on manifesting, and none of it really worked for me,
Mhm.
unfortunately. And it was a very, I wish that there had been this little footnote that was added to some of the stuff that was shared back then, that not everybody is going to manifest what they want when they want it.
Well, and I think to that point, is there, I think with good purpose, it came in of basic understanding that we're
Right,
creators.
right.
Basic. It didn't add in all the multi-layered stuff that now we're talking
That we're
about,
talking
right?
about. Mhm.
Because then that just hoses everything up, talking to the audience that understands none of this, right?
Mhm.
And as you awaken, you start moving through this.
It had to be simple.
I know
It
what it
had
was.
to be simplified because the audience wasn't quite
Right. And the
capable
premise
of
of it is to
understanding.
introduce humankind, is what they're saying. The premise
Mhm.
is to introduce humankind to the basics of creation. That's what they just said. That's
Yes.
the premise of the whole thing. And
Right.
then from there, it launches up. So what they're saying to me, they want me to use my example. I don't know. I'm just going to do it real quick. Okay. So they said, don't let this be about not trying to manifest and that it's not a thing. Don't let this
Oh,
video be about that. And we're not intending that, but I can see where maybe people would take that away. They said,
right.
put the thing out there lightly, like, okay, I'm just going to use an example. Okay, I'm going to use my example they wanted me to use. When I was married, which was ages ago, I was not happy. And I went through a decade, really, of wishing I was somewhere else. I would envision in my mind, never thinking I would have the power to get divorced. I would vision in my mind's eye having my own home and that it always looked like a little English cottage, and that I had landscaping that looked like an Englishy, cottagey, woodsy kind of thing. I don't know where that was coming from, right? I always would just envision it. I wasn't sitting there going, "Ugh, I just was like, it just felt like that's would be so comfortable. Well, I never thought in a million years I'd manifest that. Guess who has it? I'm just gonna say 20 years later. Now, granted, it was, 15.
Mm-hmm.
I realized that one day as I'm walking around my house with 20 years of landscaping around it, and you've seen pictures of. The point is,
Yeah.
It hit me, and they're like, there you go,
Mm-hmm.
there you go. You didn't
Yeah.
sit, and I'm not saying I'm a perfect manifestor because I'm not. But the point is, they're trying to use this as an example of you put the thing lightly out there, you don't obsess about it, and then you don't think about it anymore. And if it's meant to be, it's going to happen. It's your trajectory. It's also part of your soul journey. Your manifestations are also part of your soul journey that you plan. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes. And don't even forget about the fact that sometimes we do manifest things that really have nothing to do with our soul journey. So, for example,
totally.
like back in the day, I used to, like back in my 20s, I would always drive cars that would break down a lot, and it was not a fun experience to always have, your tires get flat and the engine go out and all that kind of stuff. However, at one point something shifted, and I was like, I just want a little red car.
Mm-hmm.
And I took out I did my vision board, and of all the things on my vision board, I got that.
See?
And it was the best car ever.
See?
See?
I know.
So, and that was the confusing part though for me, is that sometimes I would get what I wanted. And sometimes, more often than not, I wouldn't.
It's interesting. And yeah. And the other part too that we kind of touched on, but I think is a little bit different than the karmic thing and why you might not get that manifestation, is contracts with people, lessons we're not lessons, but contracts we have with people to come in and do a thing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Soul contracts. Mm-hmm.
Soul contracts, exactly. To either, which we can do, take on someone else's karma. We can, all those things also can cause us to not have a thing that we think we want, because guess what? Your path isn't that, your path is this. And we don't know that necessarily as a human. So I don't know if you want to speak to any of that, but does that make sense? That's kind of a little different than the karmic thing?
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
So, for example, what just came to mind for me is that, let's say that you would love to meet your soulmate who looks or behaves a certain way. However, you keep meeting the same kind of person who is maybe toxic. But here's the thing. What if those folks that you're meeting and you're dating, those toxic folks, are meant to teach you something about yourself?
Exactly.
Because that's usually what it's about, right? Is that they agree prior to incarnation to sit down and you guys talk about what you're going to teach each other. Mm-hmm. What gifts and challenges are you going to give each other? And so they come in and they're teaching you how to be strong, how to have higher self-esteem, mm-hmm. how to value who you are and what you want and all of those things. And tell me, hurry. No,
it's what they're saying. It's part of the journey to your manifestation.
Yes.
So it's not all of beauty and grace. It's not all beautiful. You're thinking you're not getting your manifestation. And down the road, you could. You see what I'm saying? Makes sense?
Yes. Yes. It's a preparation. Okay. So do you mind if I share a little story?
Go. I love stories. Okay. I think those make it relatable.
Yeah. Okay. So, oh my gosh, I don't know, 10 years ago, maybe 11, 12 years ago, I had just gotten my licensure as a clinical social worker. And I was looking for a full-time job, and I had 2 opportunities, right? So 2 interviews, and one of them was in a high school as a therapist, and one was at a clinic as a therapist. And I really wanted the high school one. I heard it paid really well. They treated you well, all of that kind of stuff. And I didn't get it. And I was so disappointed. And so I ended up at the clinic. And so at the clinic, it was such a difficult job. Like I had no training. I had very little support. I had to do all these things that I had no idea what I was doing, and I was just winging it. And I was there for about 10 months. And then I decided I heard that there was another opening at the high school. And so I went back and interviewed again. And this time I was like, they're like, oh, we remember you. And yeah, you didn't quite have the skills that we were looking for. And I was like, well, guess what?
Now I do.
This, and this. And they're like, you're hired.
See?
I had to go that circuitous route to get to where I wanted, because I had to learn all of those skills first before I could jump over here.
Yep. So what they just said is it's not a one-to-one correspondence. So it's almost like the basic teachings of manifestation. And I keep thinking of Abraham Hicks, even though I really appreciate the information that comes through.
Yeah.
But it's like A to Z kind of thing. No, because there's a lot of other stuff in between. There's all the other letters of the alphabet in between, right? That you could hit.
Yes.
But it's not a one-to-one correspondence. You start here, you end here.
Right.
You have, like you said, the circuitous route there, and to the endpoints that we made earlier. Sometimes that's not meant to happen, but it still can happen. It still can happen.
Yeah.
With our growth being taken into account, because that's why we're here.
Right.
Wow.
Yes.
I think we've covered this.
I think we have.
So I hope you enjoyed the video today and took something away for your journey, and it opens up some level of perspective for you. So Celeste and I offer a soul journey service, and right now through May 31st, we're offering a special. It's a discounted opportunity for you to work with us, a roughly 50-minute audio channeled session you're going to receive from us on your soul journey. It's not just about this life journey, but we do answer questions for you, but typically we're tying it back into your soul journey, the multiple lives you've had, and we weave it together to help you understand your current life journey and why it's important to know what we're offering you. So reach out to me through my website, purplerainhealing.com. You'll see the offering under the channeled messages option, or just contact me on the contact form and I will get going with you. Contact me before May 31st. That's the last we're going to offer this special right now. We do offer the service, but this is discounted presently, and then I'll work on scheduling it with you in June. So thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you in the next video.